Imagine this. You're standing at the edge of a frozen world where the ice groans beneath your boots and the air tastes like secrets. Suddenly, a crack splits the silence. A fissure opens, revealing a chasm so deep, your flashlight beam just vanishes. What's down there? Something ancient? Something alive? Or something that should never be found? Welcome to Unseen Ice Worlds. Today, we're plunging into the most unbelievable ocean mysteries ever uncovered. But before you blink, let me ask, what if the ocean's darkest corners are hiding more than just shipwrecks and lost cities? What if they're hiding gateways, portals to realms untouched by sunlight, where the rules of nature twist and shatter? Hold your breath, because in the next 90 minutes, you'll see things that defy logic. You'll hear stories that sound impossible until you see the evidence. And you'll question everything you thought you knew about our planet's last true frontier. Let's start with a place so few have seen. It's almost mythical, the Antarctic under-ice caves. Picture this, miles of solid ice, blue as sapphire, stretching above a labyrinth of tunnels. These caves are alive, shifting, whispering. Divers who enter say it's like swimming through the veins of a sleeping giant. But some never return. Why? Is it the cold? The crushing silence? Or something else? Now imagine you're one of those divers. Your breath fogs your mask. Your heart pounds. Every sound echoes. Your own heartbeat, the distant groan of shifting ice. Suddenly, your light catches something moving. Not a fish, not a seal. Something with eyes that reflect your beam. Eyes that shouldn't be there. You freeze. The water feels colder. And then, nothing. Just silence. But what if I told you that's just the beginning? Because beneath these ice caves, scientists have found evidence of entire ecosystems, creatures that glow in the dark, bacteria that eat metal, and tunnels that lead deeper than anyone thought possible. Some say these tunnels connect to the ocean's twilight zone, a layer so mysterious, even submarines fear to enter. And here's the twist. In 2018, a team drilling through Antarctic ice hit a pocket of water so pure it hadn't touched air in over 1 million years. When they lowered a camera, they expected emptiness. Instead, they found movement, life, but not like anything we know. What did they see? We'll get to that soon. But first, let's talk about the ice whispers. Divers report hearing voices, soft, echoing, almost like singing. Some say it's just the ice shifting. Others aren't so sure. In 2012, a diver's audio recorder picked up a series of clicks and hums, patterns that didn't match any known animal. Theories exploded. Was it a new species, a warning, or something else entirely? And then there's the vanishing glacier mystery. In Greenland, a glacier the size of Manhattan disappeared almost overnight. Satellite images showed a massive rift, but no debris, no flooding, just gone. Scientists scrambled for answers. Some blamed climate change, others whispered about underground rivers, or even hidden caverns swallowing the ice whole. But the truth? Still unsolved? Now let's zoom out. The ocean covers 70% of our planet, but we've explored less than 5%. That means 95% is still a blank map. Terra incognita. What's lurking in those depths? Lost civilizations? Alien life? Or something even stranger? The deepest part of the ocean, the Mariana Trench, is over 36,000 feet down. That's deeper than Mount Everest is tall. Down there, the pressure is so intense, it could crush a submarine like a soda can. Yet life survives. Giant amphipods, ghostly jellyfish, and creatures with jaws that unhinge like nightmares. But what if I told you there are places even deeper, hidden beneath the ice, in trenches no one's ever mapped? Some scientists believe there are subglacial oceans, entire seas trapped beneath miles of ice, cut off from the world for millions of years. What's living down there? We're about to find out. Before we dive deeper, let's set the stage. Over the next 90 minutes, you'll journey with us through the haunted ice caves of Antarctica, the lost city beneath the Arctic shelf, the abyssal gateways of the Southern Ocean, the bioluminescent forests of the deep sea, and the ultimate question: Are we alone in these frozen depths? But every answer leads to more questions. Every discovery opens a new mystery, and every shadow hides a story waiting to be told. So, are you ready to descend? To see what no one else has seen? To uncover the secrets of the unreal depths? Because in the next chapter, we're plunging into the heart of the Antarctic ice caves, where the walls move, the water glows, and the line between reality and nightmare blurs. But wait, what if this ice world hides something even darker? Stick around. Close your eyes for a second. Picture yourself slipping beneath a jagged crack in the Antarctic ice. The world above fades away. All you hear is your own breath, echoing in your helmet. The water is so cold, it burns. Your flashlight beam cuts through the blue gloom, revealing walls of ice that shimmer like crystal cathedrals. But these aren't just caves, they're living, shifting mazes older than any human memory. Now imagine the silence. It's not empty, it's heavy. Every sound, your heartbeat, the hiss of your regulator, feels amplified, like the ice itself is listening. Divers call this the whispering zone. Some say the caves sing, others say they warn. But everyone agrees. You never feel alone down here. Let's meet Dr. Lena Kovac, a polar explorer who spent more time in these caves than almost anyone alive. She describes her first descent. It was like entering another planet. The ice glowed from within, and the water was so clear I felt like I was floating in air. But then I heard it, a low humming sound, almost like a voice. I thought it was my mind playing tricks, but the sound got louder, closer. I turned, and for a split second I saw something move behind the ice. Something big. What did she see? She's not sure. But she's not the only one. Over the years, dozens of divers have reported strange encounters, shadows darting just out of sight, sudden drops in temperature, even flashes of light deep within the tunnels. Some say it's just the mind reacting to stress. Others aren't so sure. These ice caves aren't static. They grow, shrink, and shift with the seasons. Some tunnels collapse overnight. Others open up, revealing new chambers filled with ancient air. In 2016, a team discovered a hidden lake beneath 800 meters of ice. The water was pitch black, but when they shined their lights, the walls sparkled with tiny crystals, each one trapping a bubble of air from the last ice age. But the real mystery, the creatures. In these caves, life finds a way. Scientists have found tiny shrimp-like animals, blind and pale, swimming in total darkness. They feed on bacteria that survive by eating minerals from the ice itself. Some of these bacteria are so unique, they don't match anything else on Earth. Could they be relics from a time before humans? Or are they something even older? Imagine a shrimp, no bigger than your fingernail, glowing with a faint blue light. Its eyes are useless, but its antennae twitch, sensing every vibration. It's lived its whole life in darkness, never seeing the sun. Now multiply that by thousands, an entire ecosystem hidden beneath the ice, thriving where nothing should survive. But the caves hold darker secrets. In 2019, a diver's camera captured something chilling, a set of claw marks, deep and fresh, gouged into the ice wall. No known animal could have made them. The footage went viral, sparking wild theories. Giant squid? Unknown predator? Or something trapped beneath the ice, trying to get out? And then there's the vanishing diver legend. Over the past 30 years, at least 5 experienced divers have disappeared in these caves. No bodies, no gear, just gone. Some say they got lost in the maze. Others whisper about hidden currents, or even secret passages leading deeper than anyone's ever gone. But the truth? Still a mystery. In 2021, a robotic probe sent into a newly discovered tunnel picked up a strange signal, an ultra-low frequency hum, repeating every 17 seconds. It didn't match any known geological or biological source. The probe's camera showed nothing but darkness, but the hum continued, growing louder as the probe moved deeper. Then suddenly, the signal cut out. The probe was never recovered. What was making that sound? Some scientists think it's just the ice shifting. Others believe it could be a new form of life, something massive, slow, and ancient, moving through the tunnels. But until someone dares to go deeper, we may never know. Now, what would you do if you were down there, alone, and heard a voice calling your name from the darkness? Would you follow it? Or would you swim for the surface, never looking back? But the caves aren't just dangerous, they're beautiful. The walls glow with shades of blue and green, lit by bioluminescent algae. Sometimes, the ice forms arches and columns, like a frozen cathedral. Divers say it's the closest thing to visiting another world without leaving Earth. And here's a mind-blowing twist. Some scientists believe these caves could be a model for life on other planets. Jupiter's moon, Europa, for example, is covered in ice, with a vast ocean beneath. If life can survive in Antarctica's frozen caves, could it also exist on Europa? The implications are staggering. But before we leave the caves, let's ask, what else is hiding in the darkness? What secrets are locked in the ice, waiting to be found? And what happens when the ice finally melts, revealing everything it's kept hidden for millennia? Because in the next chapter, we're heading north to the Arctic shelf, where rumors of a lost city have haunted explorers for centuries. But what if the city isn't lost, but waiting? Stick around. Now, let's leave the haunted blue glow of Antarctica and travel north, far north, where the Arctic Ocean meets the edge of the world. Here, beneath a crust of shifting ice, lies a mystery that has obsessed explorers for centuries. The legend of a lost city, swallowed by the sea and entombed in ice. Imagine the scene. Endless white stretching to the horizon, the sun barely rising above the frozen waves. But beneath your feet, hidden by miles of ice and water, something ancient waits. Some call it Arctica. Others whisper of Hyperborea, a city of light and knowledge, lost when the world was young. Is it just a myth, or is there something real beneath the ice? Let's rewind to 1937. A Soviet icebreaker, the Sedov, is trapped in pack ice near the Lomonosov Ridge. As the crew drills for samples, their sonar picks up something strange. Regular geometric shapes, deep below the sea floor. The readings suggest massive stone structures, perfectly aligned, buried under layers of silt and ice. The Soviets keep the discovery secret, but rumors leak out. Was it a city, a fortress, or something else entirely? Fast forward to 2012. A team of Norwegian scientists mapping the Arctic shelf with advanced sonar stumbles on the same anomaly. This time the images are clearer. Rows of rectangular blocks, pillars, and what looks like a collapsed dome. The shapes are too regular to be natural. The team is stunned. Could this be evidence of a lost civilization hidden for thousands of years? But here's where it gets even stranger. Local Inuit legends speak of a city beneath the ice, where the spirits of the ancestors live. They say the city glows with a blue light, and that sometimes, on the coldest nights, you can hear music rising from the depths. Some elders warn that the city is cursed, that those who seek it never return. In 2015, a Russian submersible sent a camera down to the site. The footage is grainy, but you can make out shapes, columns, arches, and what looks like a staircase leading into darkness. Suddenly, the camera's lights flicker. The feed cuts out. When the submersible is recovered, its hull is covered in strange scratches, as if something tried to claw its way in. The official report blames ice debris, but the crew isn't convinced. Now, what would you do if you found a staircase leading into the unknown, beneath miles of ice? Would you descend, knowing you might never return? Or would you turn back, haunted by what you'd seen? The Arctic shelf is one of the least explored places on Earth. The ice is constantly shifting, making it nearly impossible to map. But every year, as the ice melts, new features are revealed. Canyons, ridges, and sometimes the faint outlines of something unnatural. But the lost city isn't just a legend. In 2018, a diver exploring a meltwater channel near the anomaly found something incredible, a carved stone tablet covered in symbols no one could decipher. The stone was unlike anything found in the region, and its age, At least 10,000 years old. Who made it? And what does it mean? Picture a stone tablet, slick with ice, covered in spirals and lines that seem to glow in the dim light. The symbols pulse with a strange energy, as if they're trying to tell you something if only you could understand. But the city's secrets go deeper. Some scientists believe the structures could be natural formations shaped by ice and water over millennia. Others argue the geometry is too precise, the alignments too perfect. Could it be the remains of a civilization lost to time, wiped out by a cataclysmic flood or sudden freeze? And here's a mind-bending twist. Satellite images from 2020 show a faint, circular pattern beneath the ice, stretching for miles. Some say it's the foundation of a massive city, larger than anything built by humans. Others think it's a natural feature. But the debate rages on. In 2021, a team drilling near the site hit a pocket of methane gas. As the gas escaped, it triggered a series of tremors, and for a brief moment, the ice above the anomaly cracked, revealing a glimpse of something metallic, shining in the darkness. The team barely escaped before the ice closed again. What did they see? No one knows for sure. But the legend of the lost city continues to grow. Every year, new expeditions set out, hoping to find proof. Some return with strange artifacts, carved stones, twisted metal, even what looks like a fragment of a statue. Others vanish, swallowed by the ice and the sea. Now, what if the city isn't just a relic of the past, but a warning for the future? What if it holds secrets about our own fate, about rising seas, shifting climates, and the power of nature to erase even the greatest civilizations? Because in the next chapter, we're diving into the abyssal gateways of the Southern Ocean, places so deep and dark, even light is afraid to enter. But what if these gateways aren't just holes in the sea, but doors to another world? Stick around. Now, let's leave the frozen silence of the Arctic and journey south, farther than most ships dare to sail. The Southern Ocean is a place of legends, where the water is so cold it can freeze your skin in seconds, and the storms are fierce enough to snap steel. But beneath these wild waves, hidden from the sun, lie the abyssal gateways. Deep sea trenches and chasms that plunge into the unknown. Imagine standing on the deck of an icebreaker, staring out at endless grey water. The sky is low, heavy with snow. Suddenly, your sonar operator shouts, "There's a drop-off ahead," a trench so deep the signal just disappears. The crew calls it the Black Gate. No one knows how deep it goes. Some say it's bottomless. In 2017, a research submersible, the Abyss Explorer, was sent to map one of these trenches. The team expected mud, rocks, maybe a few strange fish. But as they descended, the water grew darker, thicker, almost oily. The lights barely pierced the gloom. Then, at 8,000 meters, the cameras picked up something impossible. A perfect circle, carved into the sea floor, glowing with a faint blue light. The sub's instruments went haywire. The crew reported hearing a low, pulsing hum, like a heartbeat. Then, just as suddenly, everything went silent. The sub lost contact for 12 minutes. When it resurfaced, the crew was shaken, refusing to talk about what they'd seen. What happened down there? Was it a natural phenomenon? Or did they find a gateway, an entrance to a world beneath our own? The Southern Ocean is home to some of the deepest trenches on Earth, including the South Sandwich Trench, which plunges over 8,200 meters. Down here, the pressure is so intense, it could crush a car like a soda can. Yet life persists. Giant amphipods, ghostly octopuses, and creatures so strange they look like they belong in a science fiction movie. But the real mystery? The anomalous zones. These are areas where compasses spin, sonar fails, and strange lights flicker in the depths. Some scientists think it's just magnetic interference. Others believe these are entrances, gateways to vast, hidden caverns beneath the seafloor. What would you do if you were in a sub, thousands of meters down, and your instruments started to fail? Would you keep going, chasing the unknown, or would you turn back, haunted by what might be waiting in the darkness? Now, let's talk about the creatures. In 2019, a deep-sea probe captured footage of something extraordinary, a massive translucent shape gliding just beyond the lights. It was longer than a bus, with tendrils trailing behind it like ribbons. The footage went viral, sparking debates. Was it a giant jellyfish, an undiscovered squid, or something else entirely? But the most chilling discovery came in 2020. A team exploring a trench near the Antarctic peninsula found a series of tunnels carved into the rock by something with enormous strength. The tunnels were lined with strange spiral patterns, almost like writing. The team collected samples, but before they could analyze them, their camp was hit by a freak storm. Most of the data was lost. The samples, gone, swept into the sea. One of the scientists, Dr. Marcus Lee, claimed to have seen something in the water, a pair of glowing eyes, watching from the darkness. He described it as the feeling of being hunted by something that shouldn't exist. His colleagues dismissed it as stress, but Dr. Lee never returned to the field. Picture a trench so deep, the water turns black. Your sub's lights reveal walls covered in strange bioluminescent patterns, swirls and dots that pulse with a rhythm, as if the trench itself is alive. Suddenly, a shadow moves, too fast to see. Your heart races. The pressure outside is crushing, but it's the silence that gets to you, the sense that you're not alone. But the gateways aren't just physical. Some researchers believe they're portals in another sense, places where the laws of physics break down, where time and space twist. In 2021, a team measuring gravitational anomalies in the Southern Ocean found a spot where time seemed to slow down. Their clocks ran differently, their instruments glitched. Was it just a technical error, or something more? What if these gateways are more than just holes in the ground? What if they're doors to other worlds, other times, or even other dimensions? The idea sounds like science fiction, but the evidence keeps piling up. And here's a mind-blowing twist. Some ancient maps, drawn by early explorers, show holes in the sea, places where ships vanished without a trace. The locals called them devil's mouths. Modern science can't explain them, but the stories persist. So, what's really down there? Lost cities, alien life, or something even stranger? Something waiting for us to find it. Because in the next chapter, we're leaving the trenches behind and diving into the bioluminescent forests of the deep sea, places where the darkness comes alive with color, and every light could be a signal or a warning. But what if these lights are more than just beautiful? What if they're trying to communicate? Stick around. Now, let's leave the crushing darkness of the abyssal gateways and drift into a world that seems almost magical, a place where the night comes alive with color. Welcome to the bioluminescent forests of the deep sea. Here, in the pitch-black waters miles below the surface, life has found a way to shine. Imagine this. You're in a submersible, gliding through total darkness. Suddenly, the water around you erupts in bursts of blue, green, and violet. It's like drifting through a living galaxy. Every movement, every pulse, triggers a new explosion of light. These aren't just random flashes. They're signals, messages, warnings, and invitations. In 2018, a team of marine biologists exploring the mid-Atlantic ridge stumbled upon something extraordinary, a vast forest of bioluminescent corals stretching for miles. The corals glowed with a soft pulsing light, attracting swarms of strange creatures, jellyfish with trailing neon tentacles, shrimp that flickered like fireflies, and fish with lanterns dangling from their heads. But the most incredible discovery, patterns in the light, sequences that repeated almost like a language. What were these patterns saying? Were the creatures communicating? Or was it just nature's random beauty? The team set up cameras and sensors, hoping to decode the mystery. But as the days passed, the patterns grew more complex, almost as if the forest was aware of their presence. Over 90% of deep-sea creatures use bioluminescence in some way. Some use it to hunt, others to hide, and some to attract mates. The light is created by chemical reactions inside their bodies. No electricity, no batteries, just pure, living energy. In the deep, where sunlight never reaches, light is life. But the forest holds secrets. In 2020, a diver's camera captured something chilling, a massive tree-like structure glowing with a deep red light. It wasn't coral. It wasn't a plant. It moved, slowly, as if breathing. The footage sparked wild theories. Was it a new species? An ancient organism, older than the dinosaurs? Or something else entirely? What would you do if you saw a living tree in the darkness, reaching out with glowing branches? Would you get closer, drawn by the light? Or would you back away, sensing danger in the beauty? Now, let's talk about the hunters. Some of the most terrifying predators in the deep use light as a weapon. The anglerfish, for example, dangles a glowing lure in front of its mouth, waiting for curious prey to come close. When they do, snap, it's over in an instant. Other creatures use flashes of light to blind or confuse their enemies, creating chaos in the darkness. But the most mysterious lights are the ones that seem to move with purpose. In 2021, a team studying the Pacific Abyss recorded a series of synchronized flashes, hundreds of lights, moving in perfect unison, like a living wave. The pattern repeated every night, always at the same time. Some scientists believe it's a form of communication, a way for entire communities to coordinate their movements. Others think it's a warning, stay away. In one of the most remote parts of the Indian Ocean, a submersible pilot reported seeing a wall of light. Thousands of tiny creatures packed so tightly they formed a glowing barrier. When the sub tried to pass through, the lights flickered and vanished, leaving only darkness. What was the wall protecting or hiding? Picture a forest of glowing pillars, each one alive, swaying gently in the current. Schools of fish dart between the lights, their scales reflecting every color of the rainbow. In the distance, a shadow moves, slow, deliberate, almost curious. The lights pulse faster, as if sending a message. Danger is near. But the beauty of the bioluminescent forest is also its curse. The light attracts not just prey, but predators. Some creatures have evolved to mimic the patterns of others, luring victims into traps. Others use their light to blend in, becoming invisible in the glow. It's a constant battle, life and death, played out in flashes of color. And here's a mind-blowing twist. Some researchers believe the patterns of light in these forests could be a form of intelligence, a neural network made of living creatures, communicating across miles of ocean. If true, it would mean the deep sea is not just alive, but aware. What if the lights are trying to tell us something? What if, hidden in the patterns, is a message for those who dare to look? The idea sounds wild, but the evidence is growing. So what's really happening in the bioluminescent forests? Are they just beautiful displays of nature's creativity? Or are they something more, a living code waiting to be cracked? Because in the next chapter, we're leaving the glowing forests behind and venturing into the dead zones, places where nothing should survive, but where life finds a way. But what if these dead zones aren't as empty as they seem? Stick around. Now, let's leave the glowing wonder of the bioluminescent forests and descend into the ocean's most forbidding places, the dead zones. These are regions where oxygen is almost non-existent, where the water is thick with toxins, and where, by all logic, nothing should survive. But the ocean, as always, has other plans. Imagine drifting into a world where the water turns murky, almost oily. Your instruments start to fail. The oxygen levels drop so low, even the hardiest fish avoid these waters. Scientists call them anoxic zones, vast stretches of ocean floor where life, as we know it, should be impossible. But here's the twist. These dead zones are anything but empty. In 2016, a team exploring the Black Sea's dead zone made a shocking discovery. Using a remote-operated vehicle, they found entire colonies of tube worms thriving in the toxic sludge. These creatures don't need oxygen. They survive on chemicals like hydrogen sulfide, which would kill most other life forms in seconds. Even stranger, the worms were surrounded by mats of bacteria, glowing faintly in the darkness. The team realized they'd stumbled onto a hidden ecosystem, one that had adapted to survive in the most hostile environment imaginable. But the surprises didn't stop there. In 2018, researchers in the Arabian Sea found something even more bizarre, a zombie ecosystem, where dead fish and crustaceans were being slowly consumed by strange gelatinous blobs. These blobs, called slime molds, moved with eerie purpose, breaking down everything in their path. Some scientists believe these molds could be the ancestors of all complex life, surviving unchanged for millions of years. What would you do if you saw a living carpet of slime moving across the ocean floor, devouring everything in its way? Would you get closer, driven by curiosity? Or would you back away, feeling a chill run down your spine? Dead zones are growing. Thanks to pollution and climate change, these lifeless regions are spreading across the world's oceans. But even as they expand, life finds a way to adapt. Some species of bacteria can breathe metals instead of oxygen, turning toxic waste into energy. Others form symbiotic relationships, creating miniature worlds in the most unlikely places. But the dead zones hold darker secrets. In 2020, a deep-sea probe in the Gulf of Mexico captured footage of something that defied explanation, a massive, translucent sphere pulsing with a faint blue light. Inside, tiny creatures swam in circles, trapped in a living prison. The sphere drifted through the dead zone, absorbing nutrients from the water. Was it a new species, a living filter, or something even stranger? In the Baltic Sea, divers exploring a dead zone stumbled upon a perfectly preserved shipwreck, hundreds of years old. The lack of oxygen had kept the wood and even the ropes intact. But as they explored the wreck, their lights revealed something unexpected: strange, worm-like creatures burrowing into the timbers. The creatures glowed with a sickly green light, and when disturbed, they released a cloud of toxic gas. The divers barely escaped with their lives. Now let's talk about the ghost currents. In some dead zones, the water moves in strange, unpredictable ways. Instruments show sudden drops in temperature, unexplained eddies, and even reverse flows. Some scientists think these currents are caused by chemical reactions in the water. Others believe they're the result of hidden geological activity, underwater vents, or shifting tectonic plates. But the locals have their own theories. They say the currents are the spirits of the dead, trapped in the water, searching for a way out. Picture a landscape of black mud, dotted with glowing worms and drifting blobs. The water is thick, almost syrupy, and every movement stirs up clouds of toxic gas. In the distance, a shadow moves slow, deliberate, almost predatory. The dead zone is anything but lifeless. But the most chilling discovery came in 2021. A team studying the Sargasso Sea's dead zone found a series of strange spiral patterns etched into the seafloor. The patterns were too regular to be natural, and they stretched for miles. Some believe they're the work of ancient creatures marking their territory. Others think they're a warning, a message left for those who dare to enter. What if the dead zones are more than just lifeless wastelands? What if they're hiding something, an ancient intelligence, waiting for the right moment to awaken? The idea sounds like science fiction, but the evidence is mounting. And here's a mind-blowing twist. Some researchers believe the dead zones could be the birthplace of new life. In these harsh conditions, evolution moves fast. New species emerge, adapted to survive where nothing else can. It's a glimpse into the future of our planet, a world where only the strangest, most resilient forms of life endure. So, what's really happening in the dead zones? Are they just the ocean's graveyards? Or are they the cradles of a new kind of life? Because in the next chapter, we're leaving the dead zones behind and venturing into the world of underwater volcanoes, places where fire and ice collide, and where the ocean's most explosive secrets are waiting to be uncovered. But what if these volcanoes are more than just geological wonders? What if they're the engines of life itself? Stick around. Now, let's leave the suffocating silence of the dead zones and plunge into a world where the ocean floor is alive, where fire and ice meet in a battle that's been raging for millions of years. Welcome to the realm of underwater volcanoes, the hidden engines of our planet. Imagine this. You're piloting a submersible, gliding over a landscape of jagged black rock. Suddenly, the ground below you trembles. A plume of superheated water erupts from a crack, sending clouds of white steam billowing into the darkness. The temperature jumps from freezing to boiling in seconds. This is the front line between Earth's inner fire and the crushing cold of the deep sea. In 2015, a team exploring the Gakkel Ridge beneath the Arctic ice made a discovery that stunned the scientific world. They found active volcanoes erupting beneath miles of ice, spewing lava into the freezing water. The eruptions created vast fields of pillow lava, smooth, rounded rocks that looked almost alien. But the real shock came when they found life, entire ecosystems thriving in the boiling water, just inches from the molten rock. How is this possible? The answer lies in the hydrothermal vents, cracks in the seafloor where superheated water, rich in minerals, gushes into the ocean. These vents create oases of life, supporting creatures found nowhere else on Earth. Giant tube worms, blind shrimp, and bacteria that eat chemicals instead of sunlight, all living in a world of perpetual night. There are more than 1 million underwater volcanoes on Earth, most of them still undiscovered. These volcanoes shape the ocean floor, create new islands, and even influence the planet's climate. Some eruptions are so powerful, they can be heard thousands of miles away, like the mysterious bloop recorded in the South Pacific. A sound so loud and deep, it defied explanation for years. But the volcanoes hold darker secrets. In 2018, a submersible exploring the Tonga Trench captured footage of something extraordinary, a river of molten lava, flowing through the darkness like a living thing. The lava glowed with an eerie red light, illuminating strange armored creatures scuttling along its edge. The team realized they were witnessing a world in constant creation and destruction, a place where life and death are separated by inches. What would you do if you saw a river of fire beneath the ice, teeming with creatures that shouldn't exist? Would you get closer, risking everything for a glimpse of the unknown? Or would you retreat, overwhelmed by the raw power of nature? Now let's talk about the black smokers. These are the most famous hydrothermal vents, towers of mineral-rich water that rise from the seafloor, belching clouds of black smoke. The water here can reach 750 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt lead. Yet life flourishes. Some scientists believe these vents could be the birthplace of life on Earth, a place where simple molecules combine to form the first living cells. But the volcanoes aren't just ancient, they're active. In 2020, a team monitoring the axial seamount off the coast of Oregon detected a series of powerful eruptions. The seafloor rose and fell by several feet, creating new vents and destroying old ones. The team's instruments recorded strange signals, bursts of energy, rhythmic pulses, and even what sounded like distant voices. Was it just the movement of the Earth? Or something else, hidden in the fire and water? In the Indian Ocean, a submersible pilot reported seeing a forest of glass sponges growing on the edge of an active volcano. The sponges glowed with a faint blue light, and inside their delicate branches, tiny shrimp danced in the current. The pilot described the scene as otherworldly, a garden of glass and fire, alive with secrets. Picture a landscape of black rock and glowing lava, dotted with towers of shimmering minerals. Clouds of steam rise from the vents, swirling in the cold water. In the shadows, strange creatures move, armored crabs, blind eels and worms as tall as a person, all thriving in the heat and darkness. But the most mind-blowing twist? Some researchers believe underwater volcanoes could be the key to finding life beyond Earth. Moons like Europa and Enceladus are covered in ice, but beneath their frozen shells, scientists suspect there are oceans heated by volcanic activity. If life can survive in Earth's underwater volcanoes, could it also exist on these distant worlds? What if the secrets of our own planet are the key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe? What if, by exploring the fire beneath the ice, we're taking the first steps toward discovering life beyond Earth. So, what's really happening in the world of underwater volcanoes? Are they just geological wonders shaping the planet from below? Or are they the engines of creation, the birthplace of life itself? Because in the next chapter, we're leaving the fire behind and venturing into the world of icebergs, giants that drift across the sea, carrying secrets from the past. But what if these icebergs are more than just frozen water? What if they're time capsules, holding clues to the ocean's greatest mysteries? Stick around. Now, let's leave the fiery chaos of underwater volcanoes and rise to the surface, where the cold reigns supreme. Here, in the polar seas, titans drift silently across the water, icebergs, some as large as cities, each one a frozen monument to the past. But these aren't just blocks of ice. They're time capsules, carrying secrets from ages long gone. Imagine standing on the deck of a ship, staring up at a wall of blue and white that towers above you. The iceberg groans and cracks, shedding chunks of ice into the sea. But what's hidden inside? Trapped within these frozen giants are bubbles of ancient air, dust from distant volcanoes, even fragments of prehistoric plants and animals. Every iceberg is a message from another era, waiting to be read. In 2017, a team of glaciologists drilling into an iceberg off the coast of Greenland made a discovery that changed everything. Deep inside the ice, they found a perfectly preserved leaf, evidence that thousands of years ago, this region was covered in lush forests. The leaf was so well preserved, scientists could analyze its DNA, unlocking secrets about Earth's climate and the evolution of life. But the surprises didn't stop there. In 2019, researchers exploring an iceberg in the Southern Ocean found something even stranger, a pocket of liquid water sealed off from the outside world for centuries. Inside, they discovered tiny organisms, alive and thriving in total isolation. These ice bugs had adapted to survive in extreme cold, feeding on minerals and even producing their own antifreeze. The team realized they'd found a living laboratory, a glimpse into how life might survive on other frozen worlds. The largest iceberg ever recorded, named B-15, was over 100 miles long and 30 miles wide, bigger than the island of Jamaica. Some icebergs drift for years, traveling thousands of miles before finally melting away. Along the way, they release fresh water, nutrients, and sometimes ancient secrets. But icebergs aren't just relics of the past. They're also agents of change. As they drift, they scrape the seafloor, carving out new channels and stirring up nutrients. This process, called iceberg scouring, creates habitats for all kinds of marine life, from tiny plankton to massive whales. In a way, icebergs are gardeners of the ocean, shaping the landscape as they go. What would you do if you found a perfectly preserved animal, frozen inside an iceberg? Would you try to revive it, risking the unknown? Or would you leave it undisturbed, a silent witness to a world long gone? Now, let's talk about the dangers. Icebergs are unpredictable. They can roll without warning, sending waves crashing across the sea. Some hide most of their mass below the surface, making them invisible to radar. Ships that get too close risk disaster. Just ask the crew of the Titanic. But even today, icebergs remain a threat, especially as climate change causes more of them to break free from the polar ice sheets. But the most mysterious icebergs are the ones that seem to appear out of nowhere. In 2020, satellite images revealed a massive iceberg drifting in the South Atlantic, far from any known source. Scientists were baffled. Where did it come from? How did it travel so far so fast? Some believe it broke off from a hidden glacier deep within the Antarctic interior. Others think it's a sign of changes happening beneath the ice. Changes we're only beginning to understand. In 2021, a team studying iceberg movements noticed something strange. Some icebergs seem to follow the same paths, year after year, as if guided by invisible currents. The team mapped these iceberg highways, discovering that they lined up with ancient trade routes used by early explorers. Was it just coincidence? Or is there something about the ocean's currents that we still don't understand? Picture a massive iceberg, glowing blue in the polar twilight. Cracks run through its surface, revealing layers of ice laid down over centuries. Inside, bubbles of ancient air shimmer like jewels, each one a tiny time machine. As the iceberg drifts, it sheds pieces of itself, leaving a trail of secrets in its wake. But the most mind-blowing twist? Some researchers believe icebergs could be used to seed the ocean, releasing nutrients that trigger massive blooms of plankton. These blooms, in turn, absorb carbon dioxide, helping to slow climate change. In the future, we might even tow icebergs to drought-stricken regions, using them as floating reservoirs of fresh water. What if the key to our planet's future is locked inside these frozen giants? What if, by studying icebergs, we can unlock secrets that will help us survive in a changing world? So, what's really hidden inside the drifting time capsules of the sea? Are they just relics of a frozen past? Or are they the keys to understanding our planet's most urgent mysteries? Because in the next chapter, we're leaving the surface behind and diving into the world of under-ice rivers, hidden waterways that flow beneath the glaciers, shaping the land in secret. But what if these rivers are more than just water? What if they're the veins of a living planet pulsing with secrets? Stick around. Now, let's leave the drifting giants behind and slip beneath the surface, deep under the glaciers, where rivers flow in total darkness. These are the under-ice rivers, hidden waterways that snake through the frozen heart of the polar regions. They're invisible from above, but they shape the land, feed the ocean, and may even hold the key to our planet's most ancient secrets. Imagine this. You're inside a subglacial tunnel, surrounded by walls of blue ice. The air is so cold it burns your lungs. Water rushes past your feet, carving channels through the ice. It's a world few have ever seen, a labyrinth of rivers, lakes, and caverns, all hidden beneath miles of glacier. In 2013, a team of scientists drilling into Antarctica's Willans ice stream made a discovery that stunned the world. They found a vast river flowing hundreds of miles beneath the ice. The water was fresh, cold, and teeming with life, tiny microbes that had survived in total darkness for thousands of years. The team realized they'd uncovered a hidden ecosystem, one that had evolved in complete isolation. But the surprises didn't stop there. In 2018, researchers mapping Greenland's ice sheet found evidence of a massive subglacial lake, larger than Lake Tahoe. The lake was connected to a network of rivers, all flowing beneath the ice. When the team sent a probe into the water, they found strange, spiral-shaped organisms, creatures unlike anything seen before. Some scientists believe these organisms could be relics from a time when the Earth was covered in ice, survivors of a global snowball Earth event. There are more than 400 known subglacial lakes in Antarctica alone, and scientists believe there could be thousands more. Some of these lakes have been sealed off for millions of years, creating perfect time capsules of ancient life and climate. But the under-ice rivers aren't just relics, they're powerful forces of change. As they flow, they carve tunnels through the ice, lubricating the base of the glaciers and speeding their movement toward the sea. This process, called basal sliding, is one of the main drivers of ice loss in the polar regions. In a warming world, these hidden rivers could reshape coastlines, flood cities, and change the face of the planet. What would you do if you found yourself in a boat, drifting down a river beneath a mile of ice? Would you explore, searching for signs of life? Or would you turn back, haunted by the knowledge that you're traveling through the veins of a living planet? Now, let's talk about the mysteries. In 2020, a team studying the Aurora subglacial basin in East Antarctica detected a series of strange pulses, waves of water moving through the ice at regular intervals. The pulses were so powerful, they caused the entire glacier to rise and fall by several feet. Some scientists think these are ice quakes, triggered by the sudden release of water. Others believe they're signs of something deeper, hidden reservoirs filling and emptying in a cycle that's been going on for millennia. But the most chilling Discovery came in 2021. A robotic probe exploring a subglacial river in Greenland captured footage of something moving in the water. Something large, fast, and completely unexpected. The video is grainy, but you can make out a shadow darting through the current, too big to be a fish, too fast to be ice. The team is still analyzing the footage, but some believe it could be a new species. One that's evolved in total isolation, hidden from the world above. In Antarctica, some subglacial rivers flow all the way to the ocean, carrying ancient microbes and minerals with them. When these rivers reach the sea, they create plumes of nutrient-rich water, feeding massive blooms of plankton. Some researchers believe these plumes could be the source of mysterious green tides seen from space. Vast swirls of color that appear and disappear without warning. Picture a river of crystal-clear water flowing through a tunnel of blue ice. The walls shimmer with trapped air bubbles, each one a tiny time capsule. In the water, strange shapes move. Spirals, filaments, and shadows that vanish when you look too closely. It's a world of secrets, hidden from the sun for millions of years. But the most mind-blowing twist? Some scientists believe the under-ice rivers of Earth could be a model for life on other planets. Moons, like Europa and Enceladus, are covered in ice, but beneath their frozen shells, there may be rivers and lakes, just like the ones beneath our glaciers. If life can survive in Earth's under-ice rivers, could it also exist on these distant worlds? What if the secrets of the universe are hidden not in the stars, but beneath our feet, in the rivers that flow through the heart of the ice? So, what's really happening in the under-ice rivers? Are they just hidden waterways shaping the land in secret? Or are they the veins of a living planet, pulsing with ancient life and untold mysteries? Because in the next chapter, we're leaving the rivers behind and venturing into the world of polar night, where the sun disappears for months and the ocean comes alive with creatures of darkness. But what if the polar night holds more than just darkness? What if it's a time of transformation, when the ocean's greatest secrets are revealed? Stick around. Now, let's leave the hidden rivers behind and step into a world where the sun vanishes for months at a time. Welcome to the polar night, a time when darkness rules and the ocean transforms into a realm of shadows and secrets. Here in the far, north and south, the sun sets and doesn't rise again for weeks. Sometimes even months. The world above freezes, but below the ice, life stirs in ways few have ever witnessed. Imagine this. You're standing on the edge of the Arctic Ocean. The sky is pitch black, the stars hidden behind swirling clouds. The only light comes from the faint glow of the aurora, dancing across the horizon. But beneath your feet, under the ice, the ocean is alive. Creatures that hide during the day emerge to hunt, feed, and mate. The darkness is their time. In 2019, a team of marine biologists set up camp on the edge of the polar ice, determined to study what happens during the long night. They lowered cameras and sensors through holes in the ice, expecting to find a world in hibernation. Instead, they discovered a frenzy of activity. Swarms of tiny crustaceans called copepods rose from the depths, feeding on clouds of plankton that bloom in the darkness. Fish and squid followed, drawn by the feast. Even seals and whales appeared, navigating by sound and the faintest glimmers of bioluminescence. But the most astonishing discovery came when the team's cameras captured something unexpected, a massive, glowing shape moving slowly through the water. It was a jellyfish, larger than a car, its tentacles trailing behind like ribbons of light. The creature pulsed with color, lighting up the darkness in waves. The team realized they were witnessing a phenomenon few had ever seen: the aurora jelly. A species that only appears during the polar night. During the polar night, the ocean's food web flips upside down. Instead of sunlight driving the growth of plankton, it's the movement of ice, the flow of nutrients from rivers, and the glow of bioluminescent creatures that fuel life. Some, Species have evolved to see in near total darkness, while others use light to communicate, hunt, or hide. But the polar night isn't just about survival, it's about transformation. In 2020, researchers studying the Antarctic Peninsula found that some fish change color during the long night, turning almost invisible to predators. Others grow larger eyes or develop new ways to sense movement in the water. It's a race to adapt, with every creature fighting for its place in the darkness. What would you do if you found yourself alone on the ice, surrounded by darkness, knowing that beneath your feet an entire world was coming alive? Would you stay and watch, mesmerized by the dance of light and shadow? Or would you retreat, unnerved by the sense that you're not alone? Now, let's talk about the hunters. The polar night is the time of the stealthiest predators. Orcas, or killer whales, use the cover of darkness to hunt seals resting on the ice. They work in teams, creating waves to knock their prey into the water. In the deep, giant squid rise from the abyss, their tentacles flashing with light as they search for food. Even the smallest creatures become hunters, using bioluminescence to lure prey or confuse enemies. But the most mysterious events happen when the darkness is deepest. In 2021, a team studying the Barents Sea recorded a series of strange sounds, low, rhythmic pulses that echoed through the water. The sounds didn't match any known animal or geological process. Some scientists believe they're the calls of an undiscovered species, one that only emerges during the polar night. Others think they're signals, messages sent through the darkness, waiting for someone to listen. In the Antarctic, some researchers have reported seeing ghost lights, faint glows that move beneath the ice, changing color and shape. The lights appear and disappear without warning, sometimes following ships or divers. No one knows what causes them. Are they living creatures, reflections of the aurora, or something else entirely? Picture a world of endless night where the only light comes from the creatures themselves. Jellyfish pulse with blue and green, fish flash like tiny stars, and the ice above glows with the faint shimmer of the aurora. In the distance, a shadow moves, slow, silent and watching. But the most mind-blowing twist? Some scientists believe the polar night is a time of creation, a period when new species emerge, evolve, and spread across the ocean. The darkness acts as a shield, protecting young life from predators and harsh conditions. In a way, the polar night is the ocean's nursery, a place where the future is born in secret. What if the greatest mysteries of the ocean are hidden not in the light, but in the darkness? What if, by exploring the polar night, we can unlock secrets that will change our understanding of life itself? So, what's really happening during the months of endless night? Is it just a time of survival? Or is it a time of transformation when the ocean's greatest secrets are revealed? Because in the next chapter, we're leaving the darkness behind and venturing into the world of ancient shipwrecks, sunken relics that hold stories of exploration, tragedy, and mystery. But what if these wrecks are more than just graves? What if they're gateways to the past, and maybe to something else? Stick around. Now, let's leave the endless night of the polar seas and descend into a graveyard of legends. Scattered across the ocean floor, hidden beneath layers of silt and ice, lie the remains of ships lost to time, sunken relics that whisper stories of adventure, tragedy, and the unknown. These shipwrecks are more than just graves. They're time machines, frozen moments from the past, waiting to be uncovered. Imagine this. You're piloting a remotely operated vehicle, its lights cutting through the murky water. Suddenly, a shape emerges from the gloom. A wooden hull, half buried in sand, its masts reaching up like skeletal fingers. Around it, the ocean is silent, but you can almost hear the echoes of voices, the creak of timbers, the crash of waves. This is the final resting place of explorers, traders, and dreamers who dared to cross the world's most dangerous waters. In 2014, a team searching the Arctic for the lost ships of the Franklin expedition made a discovery that stunned the world. After more than 150 years, they found the HMS Erebus perfectly preserved in the icy depths. Inside, they found boots, dishes, even journals, snapshots of life frozen in time. But the most chilling find was a sealed cabin, its door locked from the inside. What happened to the crew? Why did they vanish without a trace? The answers are still buried in the ice, but the Erebus is just one of thousands. In the Black Sea, where the water is so anoxic that wood doesn't rot, shipwrecks from the Roman Empire lie side by side with Soviet submarines. Some are so well preserved that you can still see the cargo, amphora filled with wine, weapons, even ancient coins. Each wreck is a puzzle, a story waiting to be pieced together. The ocean is home to more than 3 million shipwrecks, from ancient triremes to modern freighters. Some are famous, like the Titanic, while others are nameless, their stories lost to the waves. But every wreck is a window into the past, a chance to glimpse a world that no longer exists. But shipwrecks aren't just relics. They're habitats. As the wood and metal decay, they become reefs, attracting fish, corals, and even sharks. In some places, entire ecosystems have sprung up around sunken ships, turning tragedy into new life. Divers exploring these wrecks often report seeing creatures found nowhere else: giant crabs, glowing anemones, and fish with colors that seem to change in the light. What would you do if you found yourself inside a sunken ship, surrounded by darkness and silence? Would you search for treasure, hoping to uncover a lost fortune? Or would you listen for the whispers of the past, trying to piece together the final moments of those who sailed before you? Now let's talk about the mysteries. In 2017, a team exploring a wreck in the Baltic Sea found something that defied explanation: a sealed chest covered in strange symbols. When they opened it, they found a collection of objects that didn't match any known culture: carvings, tools, even what looked like a map of the stars. Some believe the chest is evidence of ancient contact between distant civilizations. Others think it's a hoax, but the debate rages on. But the most haunting stories are those of ghost ships, vessels that appear and disappear without warning, their decks empty, their crews vanished. In the polar regions, where the ice can trap a ship for months, legends abound of ships frozen in place, their sails still set, their lanterns still burning. Some say these ships are cursed, doomed to sail the seas forever. Others believe they're portals, gateways to another world, waiting for the right moment to open. In 2020, a diver exploring a wreck off the coast of Greenland reported seeing something impossible: a figure dressed in old-fashioned clothes, standing on the deck of the sunken ship. The figure vanished when the diver approached, leaving only a trail of bubbles. Was it a trick of the light, or something more? Picture a shipwreck, its hull covered in coral and seaweed, its deck shrouded in darkness. Fish dart through broken windows, and crabs scuttle across the timbers. In the captain's cabin, a lantern still hangs from the ceiling, swaying gently in the current. Every object tells a story, every shadow hides a secret. But the most mind-blowing twist? Some researchers believe that shipwrecks could be the key to understanding ancient trade routes, migrations, and even lost civilizations. By studying the cargo, the construction, and the artifacts found on board, we can piece together the movements of people and ideas across the globe. In a way, every wreck is a chapter in the story of humanity, a story still being written by the sea. What if the answers to our greatest mysteries are hidden not in books, but in the silent halls of sunken ships? What if, by exploring these relics, we can unlock secrets that will change our understanding of history forever? So, what's really waiting in the graveyards of the deep? Are shipwrecks just reminders of tragedy, or are they gateways to the past, and maybe, just maybe, to something else? Because in the next chapter, we're leaving the wrecks behind and diving into the world of deep-sea giants, creatures so massive and mysterious they've inspired legends for centuries. But what if these giants are more than just animals? What if they're the guardians of the ocean's greatest secrets? Stick around. Now, let's leave the silent graveyards of shipwrecks and descend into the true heart of the ocean. The abyss, where giants roam. These are the deep-sea titans, creatures so massive and elusive that they've haunted human imagination for centuries. Some are real, some are legend, but all are shrouded in mystery. Imagine this. You're in a submersible, lights off, drifting in the blackest water you've ever seen. Suddenly, a shadow passes overhead, so large it blocks out what little light there is. Your instruments go wild. The water vibrates with a low rumbling call. You're not alone. Something ancient is watching. In 2016, a team exploring the Mariana Trench captured footage of a creature longer than a school bus, gliding silently through the darkness. Its body was covered in scars, its eyes huge and unblinking. The team called it the Phantom Leviathan. The footage sparked a frenzy. Was it a new species of squid, a giant eel, or something else entirely? The debate still rages, but one thing is certain. The deep sea is home to giants we've barely begun to understand. But the most famous of these giants is the colossal squid. With eyes the size of dinner plates and tentacles lined with rotating hooks, it's a predator built for the abyss. For years, it was known only from scars found on the bodies of sperm whales, proof of epic battles fought in the darkness. In 2007, scientists finally captured a live specimen, revealing a creature more alien than anything imagined. Its skin shimmered with iridescent colors, and its beak was strong enough to crush bone. The largest animal on Earth, the blue whale, can reach lengths of over 100 feet and weigh as much as 200 tons. Yet it feeds on some of the smallest creatures in the ocean, tiny krill. The deep sea is full of such paradoxes. Giants that feed on the minuscule, predators that never see the sun, and creatures that can live for centuries. But the giants aren't just animals, they're legends. Sailors have told stories of sea serpents, krakens, and monsters that drag ships beneath the waves. Some of these tales are exaggerations, but others are rooted in real encounters with creatures so strange they defy belief. In 2018, a research vessel in the South Atlantic recorded a series of massive sonar blips, shapes moving too fast and too deep to be whales. The crew reported seeing a living mountain rise from the depths, then vanish without a trace. What would you do if you came face to face with a creature the size of a building? Its eyes reflecting your lights, its movements slow and deliberate. Would you try to communicate, hoping for a sign of intelligence? Or would you retreat, overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the unknown? Now, let's talk about the guardians. In some cultures, deep-sea giants are seen as protectors, spirits that watch over the ocean and its secrets. The Inuit tell stories of the Tijeruk, a serpent that guards the entrances to undersea caves. Polynesian legends speak of the Tangaroa, a god who takes the form of a giant octopus, controlling the tides and storms. Even today, some scientists believe that the presence of large predators helps maintain the balance of deep-sea ecosystems, keeping populations in check and preventing collapse. But the most mysterious giants are the ones we've never seen. In 2020, a team using deep-sea microphones recorded a series of ultra-low-frequency sounds, calls so powerful they could be heard across entire ocean basins. The source? Unknown. Some believe it's a new species of whale, larger than any discovered. Others think it's something else. An ancient creature hidden in the trenches, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. In the Indian Ocean, divers exploring a deep canyon found a series of massive bones, half buried in the silt. The bones didn't match any known animal. Some were longer than a car, others twisted in impossible shapes. The team collected samples, but the DNA results were inconclusive. The mystery remains. What left these bones, and where did it go? Picture a vast, empty plain at the bottom of the sea. In the distance, a shape moves. Slow, graceful, almost ghostly. As it approaches, you see the scars on its body, the barnacles clinging to its skin, the eyes that seem to hold the memory of centuries. It glides past, silent and unbothered, a true guardian of the abyss. But the most mind-blowing twist? Some researchers believe that deep-sea giants could be the key to understanding the health of our oceans. By tracking their movements, studying their behavior, and listening to their calls, we can learn about changes in temperature, currents, and even the effects of climate change. In a way, these giants are the ocean's sentinels, watching, waiting, and warning us when something is wrong. What if the answers to our greatest questions are hidden in the songs of whales, the scars of squid, and the shadows of creatures we've yet to discover? What if, by listening to the giants, we can unlock the secrets of the deep? So, what's really lurking in the abyss? Are the giants just animals, or are they the guardians of the ocean's greatest mysteries? Because in the next chapter, we're leaving the giants behind and venturing into the world of underwater caves, labyrinths that twist and turn beneath the sea, hiding secrets that have never seen the light of day. But what if these caves are more than just tunnels? What if they're the gateways to the unknown? Stick around. Now, let's leave the open plains of the abyss and slip into the hidden veins of the ocean. The underwater caves. These are the labyrinths beneath the sea, twisting and turning through rock and ice, shrouded in darkness and mystery. Some are so vast they could swallow a skyscraper. Others are so narrow only the smallest creatures can pass. But all of them are gateways to the unknown, the unexplored, and the unimaginable. Imagine this. You're a diver, squeezing through a narrow crack in the seafloor. Your flashlight beam barely pierces the darkness. The walls close in around you, slick with algae and ancient minerals. Every sound echoes, your breath, your heartbeat, the distant drip of water. Suddenly, the tunnel opens into a vast chamber filled with crystal-clear water and strange, shimmering formations. You're the first human to ever see this place. What secrets does it hold? In 2015, a team exploring the Blue Hole in the Bahamas discovered a network of tunnels stretching for miles beneath the ocean floor. Inside, they found the bones of extinct animals, ancient tools, and even human remains, evidence that these caves were once dry and may have been used by our ancestors. But the most mysterious find was a series of carvings on the walls, symbols that no one has been able to decipher. Who made them? And what do they mean? But the Blue Hole is just the beginning. In the Yucatan Peninsula, the world's longest underwater cave system, Sac Actun, stretches for more than 200 miles. Divers have found the remains of mammoths, saber-toothed cats, and even a 13,000-year-old human skeleton, the oldest ever discovered in the Americas. The caves are a time capsule, preserving the story of life and death across millennia. Underwater caves are some of the most dangerous places on Earth. The water is cold, the passages are tight, and the risk of getting lost is ever present. Many divers have vanished in these labyrinths, their lights swallowed by the darkness. Yet the lure of discovery keeps drawing explorers back, deeper and deeper into the unknown. But the caves aren't just tombs, they're living worlds. In 2018, scientists exploring a cave beneath the Mediterranean Sea found a new species of shrimp, blind and colorless, living in total darkness. The shrimp feed on bacteria that grow on the cave walls, forming the base of a unique ecosystem. In some caves, researchers have found bacteria that eat rocks, slowly carving out new tunnels over thousands of years. What would you do if you found yourself lost in an underwater cave, your air running low, your lights flickering? Would you push forward, hoping to find a way out? Or would you turn back, haunted by the knowledge that you might never see the surface again? Now, let's talk about the legends. In many cultures, underwater caves are seen as gateways to other worlds. The Maya believed that the cenotes of the Yucatan were entrances to Xibalba, the underworld. In Greece, the Oracle of Delphi was said to receive her visions from vapors rising from a sacred cave. Even today, some divers report strange sensations, whispers in the darkness, sudden chills, the feeling of being watched, but the most mysterious caves are the ones beneath the polar ice. In Antarctica, scientists have discovered vast networks of tunnels carved by melting water. Some of these caves are filled with bizarre ice formations, spires, arches, and columns that look like something from another planet. In 2020, a robotic probe exploring one of these caves captured footage of a strange, glowing substance oozing from the walls. The substance was alive, an unknown species of extremophile, thriving in the freezing darkness. In Norway, divers exploring a cave system beneath a glacier found a series of ancient artifacts, stone tools, carved bones, and what appeared to be a ceremonial mask. The artifacts were thousands of years old, preserved by the cold. But the most puzzling find was a set of footprints, pressed into the mud at the bottom of the cave. The prints were human, but they led deeper into the darkness, ending at a wall of solid ice. Who left them? And where did they go? Picture a vast, underwater cathedral, its walls lined with shimmering crystals and strange alien shapes. Shafts of light pierce the darkness, illuminating schools of blind fish and colonies of glowing bacteria. In the distance, a tunnel disappears into blackness, a path to the unknown. But the most mind-blowing twist? Some scientists believe that underwater caves could be the key to finding life on other planets. On Mars, for example, there are signs of ancient lava tubes, caves that may still hold water, and perhaps even life. By studying Earth's underwater caves, we can learn how life survives in the most extreme environments and what to look for on other worlds. What if the answers to our greatest questions are hidden, not in the open ocean, but in the twisting tunnels beneath our feet? What if, by exploring these caves, we can unlock secrets that will change our understanding of life, death, and the universe itself? So, what's really waiting in the underwater labyrinths? Are they just tunnels, carved by water and time? Or are they gateways to the unknown, portals to worlds we've only begun to imagine? Because in the next chapter, we're leaving the caves behind and venturing into the world of rogue waves and ocean anomalies. Phenomena so powerful and unpredictable, they've sunk ships and baffled scientists for centuries. But what if these anomalies are more than just freaks of nature? What if they're signs of something deeper, something we're not meant to understand? Stick around. Now, let's leave the twisting tunnels of underwater caves and rise to the surface, where the ocean's true unpredictability is on full display. Here in the open sea, the rules can change in an instant. Welcome to the world of rogue waves and ocean anomalies, nature's wild cards, capable of turning calm waters into chaos without warning. Imagine this. You're on a ship, the sea is calm. The sky is clear. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a wall of water rises before you, taller than a 10-story building, moving faster than you can react. It crashes down, swallowing everything in its path. This is a rogue wave, a phenomenon so rare and powerful that for centuries, sailors dismissed them as myths. But the ocean doesn't care about our stories. It writes its own. In 1995, the Dropner oil platform in the North Sea recorded the first scientifically confirmed rogue wave, a 25.6-meter monster that appeared without warning. The platform survived, but the event changed everything. Suddenly, the legends of freak waves that sank ships and swallowed entire crews didn't seem so impossible. Scientists scrambled to understand how such waves could form, and what else might be lurking in the ocean's playbook. But rogue waves are just the beginning. The ocean is full of anomalies, strange phenomena that defy explanation. In the Bermuda Triangle, ships and planes have vanished without a trace, their last radio messages filled with confusion and fear. Some blame magnetic anomalies, others point to methane bubbles rising from the seafloor, disrupting navigation and buoyancy. The truth? Still a mystery. Rogue waves can reach heights of over 30 meters and strike with the force of a freight train. They can appear in perfectly calm seas, often with no warning. Modern satellites have confirmed that these waves are more common than once thought, but predicting them remains nearly impossible. But the ocean's anomalies aren't limited to waves. In 2018, a research vessel in the Southern Ocean encountered a maelstrom, a massive swirling vortex that pulled water, debris, and even small boats into its center. The crew barely escaped, but the event left scientists baffled. Was it a rare current, a hidden underwater landslide, or something else entirely? What would you do if you found yourself facing a wall of water or caught in a spinning vortex with no escape? Would you trust your instincts or surrender to the power of the sea? Now let's talk about the singing ocean. In some places, the water itself seems to hum, producing low-frequency sounds that can be heard for miles. These ocean songs have been recorded in the Arctic, the Pacific, and even beneath the Antarctic ice. Some are caused by shifting ice, others by underwater earthquakes. But a few remain unexplained, mysterious melodies that rise from the deep, echoing through the water like a siren's call. But the most chilling anomaly is the phenomenon known as ocean disappearances. In certain regions, entire patches of sea seem to vanish overnight, replaced by strange, glassy calm or swirling fog. Fishermen tell stories of boats that enter these zones and are never seen again. Scientists have documented sudden drops in temperature, changes in salinity, and even the appearance of strange lights beneath the surface. Are these just quirks of nature or signs of something more? In 2021, a satellite passing over the South Atlantic captured images of a massive, perfectly circular patch of calm water, surrounded by raging waves. The patch was over a mile wide, and no one could explain how it formed. Some believe it was caused by an underwater volcano. Others think it's a sign of hidden currents, or even a portal to another world. The mystery remains unsolved. Picture a ship sailing through calm seas, the water like glass. Suddenly, the horizon tilts, and a wall of water rises from nowhere. The crew scrambles, but the wave crashes down, swallowing the ship in seconds. In the aftermath, only silence remains, a reminder of the ocean's power and unpredictability. But the most mind-blowing twist? Some researchers believe that rogue waves and ocean anomalies could be linked to changes in the Earth's magnetic field, shifts in underwater geology, or even the movement of massive icebergs. In a world where the climate is changing faster than ever, these wild cards may become more common and more dangerous. What if the ocean's greatest mysteries aren't hidden in its depths, but in the moments when it breaks its own rules? What if, by studying these anomalies, we can learn to predict and maybe even prevent disasters before they strike? So, what's really behind the ocean's wildest phenomena? Are rogue waves and anomalies just quirks of nature? Or are they signs of deeper forces at work, forces we're only beginning to understand? Because in the next chapter, we're leaving the chaos of the surface behind and diving into the world of ancient ice. Glaciers that have survived for millennia, holding secrets from the dawn of time. But what if these glaciers are more than just frozen rivers? What if they're the keepers of the ocean's oldest mysteries? Stick around. Now, let's leave the chaos of rogue waves and ocean anomalies behind and journey to the frozen frontiers where ancient glaciers stand as silent sentinels over the sea. These are not just rivers of ice. They are living archives, holding secrets from the dawn of time. Some have survived for tens of thousands of years, growing, shrinking, and shifting with the planet's every breath. Imagine this. You're standing at the foot of a glacier, its face towering above you like a frozen fortress. The air is sharp, every breath tinged with the scent of snow and ancient earth. The ice is blue, almost glowing, and as you listen, you hear the glacier groan. A deep, resonant sound that echoes through the valley. It's the voice of the past, calling out across the ages. In 2017, a team of scientists drilling deep into the Greenland ice sheet made a discovery that would rewrite history. Trapped within the layers of ice, they found pollen, spores, and even fragments of ancient plants, evidence that, thousands of years ago, Greenland was covered in forests and meadows. The ice had preserved these relics perfectly, offering a window into a world long vanished. But the surprises didn't stop there. In Antarctica, researchers uncovered a layer of ash buried deep within the ice, a remnant of a massive volcanic eruption that occurred 22,000 years ago. The ash was so well preserved that scientists could trace its origin to a volcano in the South Sandwich Islands, thousands of miles away. The glacier had captured a moment in time, holding it safe for millennia. Glaciers cover about 10% of the Earth's land surface and hold nearly 70% of the world's fresh water. Some, like the Lambert Glacier in Antarctica, are over 250 miles long and more than 8,000 feet thick. These frozen giants move slowly, grinding rock and soil beneath them, shaping the land and feeding the ocean with meltwater. But glaciers are more than just ice, they're time machines. Each layer of snow that falls is compressed into ice, trapping air, dust, and even microorganisms. By drilling deep into the ice, scientists can read the story of Earth's climate, year by year, going back hundreds of thousands of years. They can see periods of warmth and cold, volcanic eruptions, even the rise and fall of ancient civilizations. What would you do if you found a perfectly preserved animal frozen in the heart of a glacier? Would you study it, hoping to unlock the secrets of extinction and survival? Or would you leave it undisturbed, a silent witness to a world that no longer exists? Now, let's talk about the mysteries. In 2019, a team exploring the Thwaites Glacier in West Antarctica discovered a network of hidden lakes and rivers flowing beneath the ice. These subglacial waterways are teeming with life, bacteria and other microbes that have adapted to survive in total darkness, feeding on minerals and chemicals from the rock below. Some scientists believe these ecosystems could be millions of years old, untouched by the outside world. But the most chilling discovery came in 2021. A robotic probe sent into a crevasse in the Antarctic peninsula captured footage of something moving beneath the ice, something large, slow, and completely unexpected. The video is grainy, but you can make out a shadow gliding through the water, too big to be a fish, too smooth to be ice. The team is still analyzing the footage, but some believe it could be a new species, one that has survived, hidden, since the last ice age. In Greenland, scientists studying ancient ice cores found traces of DNA from plants and animals that no longer exist anywhere on Earth. Some of the DNA is so old, it predates the last interglacial period over 120,000 years ago. The ice has preserved the genetic code of lost worlds, offering clues to how life adapts and survives through the ages. Picture a glacier at sunset, its surface glowing pink and gold. Cracks run through the ice, revealing layers of blue and white, each one a chapter in the story of the Earth. Deep inside, bubbles of ancient air shimmer like jewels, and in the darkness, something stirs, a reminder that the glacier is alive, always moving, always changing. But the most mind-blowing twist? Some researchers believe that as glaciers melt, they could release ancient viruses and bacteria, locked away for thousands of years. These time capsule microbes could pose risks or offer new insights into the origins of life and disease. In a warming world, the secrets of the glaciers are being revealed faster than ever before. What if the key to our planet's future is hidden in the ice? What if, by studying glaciers, we can learn how to survive the changes that are coming, and maybe even prevent the next great extinction? So, what's really hidden in the heart of the ancient glaciers? Are they just frozen rivers, slowly melting into the sea? Or are they the keepers of the ocean's oldest and most powerful mysteries? Because in the next chapter, we're leaving the glaciers behind and venturing into the world of unexplained ocean sounds, mysterious noises that echo through the deep, baffling scientists and sparking wild theories. But what if these sounds are more than just noise? What if they're messages waiting to be understood? Stick around. Now, let's leave the frozen silence of ancient glaciers and tune our ears to the ocean's strangest language, the mysterious sounds that echo through the deep. These are the unexplained ocean noises. Signals that have baffled scientists, inspired legends, and left us wondering who or what is making them. Imagine this. You're aboard a research vessel in the middle of the Pacific. The water is calm, the sky is clear. Suddenly, your hydrophone picks up a sound, low, rumbling, almost like a distant engine. But there are no ships for hundreds of miles. The sound grows louder, then fades, leaving only questions in its wake. This is just one of the many mysteries that haunt the world's oceans. In 1997, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, recorded a sound so loud it was heard across the entire Pacific Ocean. They called it the bloop. The noise was ultra-low frequency, rising rapidly in pitch, and unlike anything ever recorded. Some thought it was a massive underwater creature, others suggested shifting ice or volcanic activity. To this day, the true source remains a mystery. But the bloop is just the beginning. In 1991, another strange sound was recorded in the South Pacific, dubbed Julia. It lasted for nearly 15 minutes and was so powerful it saturated the hydrophones. Theories ranged from iceberg collisions to secret military operations. No explanation has ever been confirmed. The ocean is a noisy place. Whales sing, shrimp snap, and even the movement of water over sand creates sound. But some noises are so strange, so out of place that they defy all known sources. These unexplained sounds are catalogued by scientists, each with its own name. The upsweep, the whistle, the slow down, and more. But the most chilling sounds are the ones that seem to repeat, patterns that suggest intelligence or at least purpose. In 2014, researchers in the Southern Ocean recorded a series of rhythmic pulses, spaced exactly 54 seconds apart. The pulses continued for months, always at the same frequency, always from the same location. Some believe it's the call of an undiscovered species, others think it's a geological phenomenon. The truth? Still unknown. What would you do if you heard a sound in the deep, one that no one could explain? Would you investigate, hoping to discover something new, or would you back away, unnerved by the possibility that you're not alone? Now, let's talk about the legends. For centuries, sailors have told stories of the singing sea, mysterious melodies that rise from the depths, luring ships off course or warning of danger. In some cultures, these sounds are believed to be the voices of sea gods or the cries of lost souls. Even today, some fishermen refuse to sail when the ocean sings, fearing what might be waiting below. But the most mysterious sounds are the ones that seem to move, traveling across vast distances, changing pitch and tone as they go. In 2018, a team tracking whale migrations picked up a series of signals that seemed to follow the whales, matching their movements and even responding to their calls. Was it another species, communicating in secret, or something else, using sound as a way to navigate the darkness? In the Arctic, as the ice melts and new shipping routes open, researchers have begun to hear new sounds, strange clicks, hums, and even what sounds like mechanical whirring. Some believe these are the voices of creatures adapting to a changing world. Others worry they're the first signs of human impact, echoing through the last wild places on Earth. Picture a vast, empty ocean, the surface calm and still. Beneath, sound waves ripple through the water, bouncing off mountains, trenches, and ice. Somewhere in the darkness, a signal pulses, steady, insistent, waiting for someone to listen. But the most mind-blowing twist? Some scientists believe that by decoding these sounds, we could unlock the secrets of the deep. Mapping the ocean floor, tracking migrations, even discovering new species. In a way, the ocean is speaking to us, if only we can learn to understand its language. What if the answers to our greatest mysteries are hidden not in what we see, but in what we hear? What if, by listening to the ocean, we can unlock secrets that have been waiting for millions of years? So, what's really behind the unexplained sounds of the deep? Are they just the echoes of natural forces, or are they messages, signals from creatures, or even civilizations we have yet to discover? Because in the next chapter, we're leaving the world of sound behind and venturing into the realm of lost civilizations, sunken cities, and forgotten empires that may still lie hidden beneath the waves. But what if these ruins are more than just relics? What if they're warnings left behind for those who come after? Stick around. Now, let's leave the world of mysterious sounds behind and dive into the realm of legends, where entire cities, temples, and empires have vanished beneath the waves. These are the lost civilizations of the ocean, places whispered about in ancient texts and feared by sailors for centuries. Some say they're just myths, but what if the truth is even stranger? Imagine this. You're gliding over a shallow reef, the water crystal clear. Suddenly, shapes emerge from the sand. Columns, walls, even the outline of a road. As you get closer, you see carvings on the stones, worn by centuries of current. This isn't just a pile of rocks. It's the remains of a city, lost to time and tide. In 2001, off the coast of India, sonar scans revealed a vast complex of structures beneath the Gulf of Kambat. Divers found stone walls, steps, and what appeared to be a grid of streets, evidence of a city that may have existed over 9,000 years ago, long before the pyramids of Egypt. The discovery sparked debate. Was this the legendary city of Dwarka, home of the god Krishna, or a forgotten civilization erased by rising seas? But India isn't alone. In the Mediterranean, the city of Heracleion lay hidden for over 1,000 years, buried beneath mud and water at the mouth of the Nile. When archaeologists finally uncovered it, they found statues, temples, and even entire ships perfectly preserved. The city had been a bustling port, a crossroads of cultures, until a series of earthquakes and floods sent it tumbling into the sea. More than 20 cities have been discovered underwater in the last century, from the ruins of Pavlopetri in Greece to the sunken temples of Port Royal in Jamaica. Some were lost to earthquakes, others to tsunamis or the slow rise of the ocean. Each one is a time capsule, offering a glimpse into a world that once was. But the most mysterious of all is Atlantis, the legendary island described by Plato, said to have vanished in a single night of fire and flood. For centuries, explorers have searched for its remains, from the coasts of Spain to the Caribbean. Some believe Atlantis was a real place, destroyed by a cataclysmic event. Others think it's a myth, a warning about the dangers of hubris and pride. What would you do if you stumbled upon the ruins of a lost city? Its streets silent, its temples empty. Would you search for treasure, hoping to find gold and jewels? Or would you look for answers, trying to piece together the story of a people who vanished without a trace? Now, let's talk about the technology. Some sunken cities show signs of advanced engineering, harbors, drainage systems, even evidence of metalworking. In Yonaguni, off the coast of Japan, divers have found massive stone terraces and steps, carved with geometric precision. Some say it's a natural formation, others insist it's the work of an ancient civilization, lost to the sea. But the most haunting discoveries are the human remains, skeletons buried in the sand, still clutching tools or jewelry. In some cases, entire families were found together, caught by disaster as they tried to escape. These silent witnesses remind us that every lost city was once alive, filled with laughter, music, and dreams. In 2019, a team exploring the Black Sea found a shipwreck over 2,400 years old, perfectly preserved in the oxygen-free depths. The ship was Greek, its cargo still intact. But nearby, sonar revealed the outline of a much larger structure, possibly the remains of a settlement buried beneath layers of mud. The team is still investigating, but some believe it could be evidence of a lost civilization, wiped out by a sudden flood. Picture a city beneath the waves, its streets lined with columns and statues, its buildings covered in coral and seaweed. Fish dart through open doorways, and rays of sunlight filter down, illuminating mosaics that haven't been seen in 1,000 years. In the silence, you can almost hear the echoes of voices, the music of a vanished world. But the most mind-blowing twist? Some researchers believe that the stories of lost civilizations are more than just history. They're warnings. As sea levels rise and storms grow stronger, modern cities face the same threats that doomed their ancient counterparts. By studying the past, we may find clues to surviving the future. What if the ruins beneath the waves are not just relics, but messages, warnings left behind by those who came before? What if, by listening to their stories, we can avoid repeating their mistakes? So, what's really hidden in the sunken cities and forgotten empires of the ocean? Are they just reminders of what was lost, or are they keys to understanding our own fate? Because in the next chapter, we're leaving the ruins behind and venturing into the world of polar megafauna. Creatures so strange and resilient, they've adapted to survive in the harshest environments on Earth. But what if these animals are more than just survivors? What if they're the last guardians of secrets we've only begun to uncover? Stick around. Now, let's leave the silent ruins of lost civilizations and journey to the edges of the world where life clings to the ice and survival is a daily battle. Welcome to the realm of polar megafauna, the giants and oddities of the Arctic and Antarctic. These creatures are more than just survivors. They are the guardians of secrets, living proof that life can thrive in the most extreme conditions on Earth. Imagine this. You're standing on the pack ice, the wind biting at your face. In the distance, a shape moves, massive, white, and powerful. It's a polar bear, the king of the Arctic, padding silently across the frozen sea. Nearby, a pod of beluga whales surfaces, their white bodies gleaming in the pale sun. Above, a flock of Arctic terns wheels and dives, their calls echoing across the ice. In 2018, researchers tracking emperor penguins in Antarctica made a startling discovery. Using satellite imagery, they found a colony of over 1,500 birds living on a remote, shifting ice shelf, far from any known food source. How did the penguins survive? The answer lay beneath the ice, a hidden upwelling of nutrient-rich water, teeming with krill and fish. The penguins had adapted to follow the food, even as the ice moved beneath their feet. But the surprises didn't stop there. In the Arctic, scientists studying narwhals, the unicorns of the sea, found that these elusive whales use their long, spiral tusks to sense changes in water temperature and salinity. The tusks are covered in millions of nerve endings, making them one of the most sensitive organs in the animal kingdom. Narwhals can detect subtle shifts in the ocean, helping them navigate through shifting ice and find breathing holes in the frozen sea. The blue whale, the largest animal ever to live, migrates to polar waters each summer to feed on swarms of krill. Walruses use their massive tusks to haul themselves onto the ice, while leopard seals patrol the edges, hunting penguins and fish. In the deep, colossal squid and giant amphipods lurk, rarely seen, but always present. But polar megafauna aren't just animals, they're indicators of change. As the climate warms and the ice melts, these creatures are forced to adapt or perish. In 2020, a team of researchers observed polar bears swimming for days at a time, searching for stable ice. Some bears traveled over 400 miles without rest, a journey that would have been unthinkable just a few decades ago. What would you do if you found yourself face to face with a polar bear, or swimming alongside a pod of narwhals? Would you marvel at their resilience, or worry about their future in a world that's changing faster than ever? Now, let's talk about the mysteries. In the Antarctic, scientists have discovered a population of ice fish, creatures with clear blood, adapted to survive in water colder than freezing. Their blood contains antifreeze proteins, preventing ice crystals from forming in their veins. In the Arctic, bowhead whales have been found with harpoons embedded in their flesh, evidence that some individuals have lived for over 200 years, surviving generations of hunters and explorers. But the most mind-blowing twist? Some researchers believe that polar megafauna may hold the key to understanding the history of the planet. By studying the DNA of whales, seals, and bears, scientists can trace migrations, population changes, and even the effects of ancient climate shifts. In a way, these animals are living archives, carrying the story of the Earth in their genes. In 2021, a team studying the Weddell Sea discovered a massive aggregation of icefish nests, over 60 million, stretching for miles across the seafloor. The nests were carefully constructed, each one guarded by a single fish. The discovery stunned scientists, who had never seen such a large and organized breeding ground in the polar regions. What drives these fish to gather in such numbers? And what other secrets are hidden beneath the ice? Picture a pod of orcas slicing through the water, their black and white bodies moving in perfect synchrony. On the ice above, a group of seals basks in the sun, while a lone polar bear watches from a distance. In the deep, a colossal squid drifts past, its tentacles trailing like ribbons in the current. The polar regions are alive, vibrant, and full of surprises. But the most haunting question remains: how long can these guardians survive? As the ice retreats and the world warms, the future of polar megafauna hangs in the balance. Some species may adapt, others may vanish, taking their secrets with them. What if the fate of these creatures is tied to our own? What if, by protecting the polar giants, we're also protecting the future of the planet? So, what's really happening at the frozen frontiers? Are the polar megafauna just survivors, or are they the last guardians of secrets we've only begun to uncover? Because in the next chapter, we're leaving the world of living giants and venturing into the realm of the unexplained, mysterious disappearances, strange phenomena, and stories that defy logic. But what if these mysteries are more than just unsolved cases? What if they're clues to a deeper truth about the ocean itself? Stick around. Now, let's leave the world of polar giants and step into the shadows where the ocean's greatest mysteries remain unsolved. This is the realm of the unexplained, a place where ships vanish without a trace. Strange lights flicker beneath the waves, and stories circulate that seem impossible, until you hear the evidence. Imagine this. You're on a research vessel, the sea calm, and the sky clear. Suddenly, your instruments go haywire. Compasses spin, GPS signals drop, and a thick fog rolls in out of nowhere. When it clears, another ship that was just a mile away is gone. No distress call, no debris. Just silence. This isn't just a sailor's tale. It's happened more times than you'd believe. In 2014, the Russian research ship Akademik Shikalsky was trapped in Antarctic ice. As rescue teams approached, they reported seeing strange, glowing orbs moving beneath the surface. The orbs vanished as quickly as they appeared, leaving behind only questions. Some blamed bioluminescent creatures, others suggested electrical phenomena. But the crew swore the lights moved with purpose, almost as if they were watching. But the ocean's mysteries go deeper. In the Bermuda Triangle, more than 1,000 ships and planes have disappeared over the past century. Some vanish in perfect weather, others in storms. Wreckage is rarely found. Theories range from methane gas eruptions to magnetic anomalies, but no single explanation fits every case. Some believe the triangle is a gateway, a place where the laws of physics break down, or where something waits just out of sight. The Mary Celeste, found adrift in 1872, is one of the most famous ghost ships in history. Her crew vanished without a trace, leaving behind food, water, and even personal belongings. The ship was in perfect condition, but no one was ever found. To this day, the fate of the Mary Celeste remains one of the ocean's greatest mysteries. But the disappearances aren't limited to ships. In 2017, a team of divers exploring a deep trench off the coast of Japan reported seeing a massive shadow moving beneath them. Their lights flickered, and their cameras malfunctioned. When they surfaced, one diver was missing. Search teams found no trace, no bubbles, no gear, nothing. The remaining divers described a feeling of being watched, as if something ancient and powerful lurked in the darkness. What would you do if you found yourself in a place where the rules no longer applied? Would you keep searching for answers, or would you turn back, haunted by the knowledge that some mysteries are better left unsolved? Now let's talk about strange phenomena. In 2020, a cargo ship crossing the South Atlantic reported a sudden drop in temperature over 20 degrees in less than a minute. The crew saw a wall of fog, glowing with a faint blue light, rise from the water. Instruments failed, and the ship drifted for hours before the fog lifted. When it did, the crew found themselves hundreds of miles off course. No explanation has ever been found. But the most chilling stories are those of the ocean whispers. Divers and sailors alike have reported hearing voices in the deep, soft, echoing, almost like singing. Some say it's just the sound of water moving through caves or the calls of distant whales. Others believe it's something more, a message, a warning, or perhaps the voices of those who vanished, still echoing through the water. In the Arctic, a team studying the melting ice reported seeing a series of perfectly round holes, spaced evenly across the surface. The holes were warm to the touch, and strange patterns radiated out from them beneath the ice. The team collected samples, but the data was inconclusive. Some believe the holes are caused by methane eruptions. Others think they're the work of unknown creatures. The mystery remains. Picture a ship drifting through a sea of fog, its lights barely piercing the gloom. Beneath the surface, shadows move, slow, deliberate, almost curious. In the distance, a faint glow pulses, then vanishes. The ocean is silent, but you can feel the weight of secrets pressing in from all sides. But the most mind-blowing twist? Some researchers believe that the ocean's greatest mysteries are connected, that disappearances, strange lights, and unexplained phenomena are all part of a larger pattern. In a world where so much remains unexplored, the ocean may be hiding truths that challenge everything we think we know. What if the answers to these mysteries are just out of reach, waiting for the right moment or the right person to uncover them? What if, by pushing deeper, we risk discovering things we're not ready to face? So, what's really happening in the ocean's shadowy corners? Are these just stories, or are they clues to a deeper reality, one that defies logic and explanation? Because in the next chapter, we're leaving the realm of the unexplained and heading toward the surface, where the future of the ocean and our place in it hangs in the balance. But what if the greatest mystery of all is what comes next? Stick around. Now, let's rise from the depths and return to the surface, where the greatest mystery of all awaits: the future. After all we've seen, from haunted ice caves to sunken cities, from bioluminescent forests to the silent guardians of the abyss, one question remains. What comes next? The ocean is not just a place of secrets and shadows. It's a living, breathing world, one that shapes our climate, feeds our people, and connects every continent on Earth. And its story is far from over. Imagine this. You're standing on a rocky shore, the sun setting over endless blue. The waves lap at your feet, each one carrying whispers from the deep. Somewhere out there, new mysteries are waiting. Creatures yet to be discovered. Ruins yet to be explored. Sounds yet to be heard. The ocean is calling, and its future depends on what we do next. In 2022, scientists announced the discovery of a new species of deep-sea coral, thriving in waters once thought too cold and dark for life. The coral forms vast gardens, home to hundreds of other species. It's a reminder that the ocean is always changing, always surprising us. But it's also a warning. These fragile ecosystems are threatened by warming waters, pollution, and overfishing. If we're not careful, the next generation may never see the wonders we've explored tonight. But the ocean's future isn't just about loss. It's about hope. Around the world, people are working to protect and restore the seas. Marine reserves are giving fish populations a chance to recover. New technologies are helping us map the ocean floor, track endangered species, and clean up plastic waste. Indigenous communities are reviving ancient traditions, showing us how to live in harmony with the water. The ocean story is still being written, and we all have a part to play. More than 80% of the ocean remains unexplored. We've mapped the surface of Mars in greater detail than our own seafloor. Every year, new species are discovered, some so strange they challenge our understanding of life itself. The next great discovery could be just a dive away. But the greatest challenge is not what we find, but what we choose to do. The ocean is under threat from climate change, acidification, plastic pollution, and unsustainable fishing. Coral reefs are bleaching, glaciers are melting, and entire ecosystems are shifting. The choices we make in the next decade will shape the ocean for centuries to come. What would you do if you knew the fate of the ocean was in your hands? Would you change the way you live, the way you eat, the way you think about the world? Or would you turn away, hoping someone else will solve the problem? Now, let's talk about the power of curiosity. Every mystery we've explored tonight began with a question. A diver peering into a cave, a scientist listening for strange sounds, a sailor following a light in the fog. Curiosity is what drives us to explore, to learn, to protect. It's what connects us to the ocean and to each other. But the most mind-blowing twist? The ocean's greatest mysteries may never be fully solved. There will always be new questions, new discoveries, new stories to tell. And that's what makes the ocean so magical. It's a place where the impossible becomes possible, where the unknown is just the beginning. In the coming years, new technologies like autonomous submarines, deep-sea drones, and AI-powered sensors will allow us to explore places no human has ever seen. We may find new forms of life, new sources of energy, even new medicines hidden in the depths. But with every discovery comes responsibility. The ocean is not just a resource to be used, but a world to be respected and protected. Picture a child standing at the water's edge, eyes wide with wonder. In their hands, a shell, a piece of driftwood, a story waiting to be told. The future of the ocean belongs to them, and to all of us. But the most important message? The ocean is not separate from us. Its fate is our fate. Its health is our health. Every breath we take, every meal we eat, every storm we weather is connected to the sea. We are part of its story, and it is part of ours. What if the greatest adventure is still ahead? What if, by working together, we can write a new chapter, one of discovery, protection, and hope? So as we surface from this journey into the unreal depths, remember, the ocean's mysteries are not just stories to be told, but challenges to be met, wonders to be protected, and dreams to be pursued. The next time you look out at the water, ask yourself, what secrets are waiting beneath the waves? And what will you do to help protect them? Because the greatest mystery of all is not what we find in the ocean, but what we choose to do with what we know. Thank you for diving with us into the most unbelievable ocean mysteries ever uncovered. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Our Unseenest Worlds, and ring the bell so you never miss an adventure. Share your favorite ocean mystery in the comments below. What do you want us to explore next? Remember, the ocean's story is still being written and you're a part of it. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the wonder alive. See you in the next deep dive.